Hey everybody, Lance here of Lance's Car Life. It's been a couple of days, and first things first, I want to apologize. Yesterday was just a lazy day for me because it was my off day. I'm supposed to put a video up, I never did. That's why I'm filming on a Wednesday. Now, as I drive here, life as a salesperson never ends. You're basically, people understand, especially like in sales, a lot of salespeople tell you the same thing. It's a 24/7 business, and let me explain. I had to take a sip of my coffee here. Taking care of your customers. Now, I had a couple of customers call me yesterday, and it's weird because the first one was actually a text from a gentleman I sold a Kia Soul to, who's having issues with it, and it said, the check engine light came on and says, I need a rental check and advise. Well, I was gonna get back to the office today, obviously, and make sure that gets squared away. That is something to where I'm not sure what's gonna happen because we're trying to figure out if it falls under that engine recall that Kia has. Because our service department was here last month, told them to monitor it, which was fine. It's just the fact I'm gonna get that handled. Now, in my world of secondary, and I apologize for the camera being really bouncy. You can actually explain the highway here that I'm on, because like, hey, they need to pave it. Now I have a customer that I'm working with right now. It's a subprime like I always do. And it's one of those situations where she has an open bankruptcy. Now she understands her situation. Now what I can't understand is, and I'll be honest with you, this is the problem, some of the problems I run into. Now, her lawyer recommended her to this dealership, which has all been all well and good because people refer people all the time. The problem is that this place she went to is ran by a bunch of lawyers masquerading as a dealership, and they try to put her in a bad situation. Now, they showed her this. She told me it's a Nissan Murano, which she really wasn't too impressed with, and they hit her and not hit her. They quoted a payment of well over $600 a month. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the lender, she told me that she had texted me Monday, asked me was it approved through his lender. I said no, because we don't use them. That's why I got kind of curious. Now this lender's got her at probably 24.99%. And I know I'm down to the mid-teens. So I told her don't do anything until I get back to the office this morning. And she was okay with that. She knows I'm gonna take care of her. And this is one of those situations where that somebody does exclusively secondary hate, because it wasn't necessarily the client shopping around the qualification. That was never the situation in this instance. It was her bankruptcy lawyer shopping her around. Now, and a lot of they try to get his own referral. Now, granted, the company she went to, I mean, they only use one or two lenders, and there are some of the bottom feeder lenders too. And in this situation to where I really want to help her. And we don't get that about once a month. We really want to help a client, and that's okay. And it's one of those ones to where we'll get it figured out. She says she's wide open as far as vehicle. She wants to keep her payment low. Now, I got to look more into it today because I promised her I would, but we'll find out. Now, the other reason why I'm jumping on here this morning, it's something and I'll be honest with you, I almost did a video on this yesterday afternoon once I watched the video I'm about to talk about. And I elected not to because it didn't fall into the segment I wanted to do of debunking the so-called experts. This video didn't necessarily fall into this. Now, I'm watching the video from Every Man Driving. Now, Dave does a good job over there. I'll be honest. But Dave, I gotta call you out on this one. The video he put out yesterday he asked the questions, why isn't the Honda Civic selling? Now, it's not the fact he did the video itself. He was only partially true in the video. Now, number one, he was trying to sell his own goods throughout that entire video, and I got a big issue with that. Now, I understand you gotta pay bills too, people's gotta pay bills, all of that. But do it at the beginning or the end of the video, not during the video while you're talking about said subject. Now, in the case of the Civic, he said that the Honda Civic sales are down 50%. Now, which is true. But the reason why he gave is the problem. Now, he alluded to was because of the pricing, and I'm talking about the markups. And I'm thinking to myself, now, wait a minute. This is not totally true, and let me explain. Last year, Honda said themselves they were cutting production worldwide because of the semiconductor shortage. Now, he did allude to that, but he tried to pin purely on pricing. And that's not all the way true, especially when the manufacturer says themselves they're cutting production, number one. If you want to start why the sales are down, let's start there. Now, there's a second reason for this. Has anybody noticed the price of a Civic lately? Now, I got on their corporate website. I mean, you can go there right now. Now, the one nice thing about Honda, they basically have 3 or 4 trim lines on all their cars. Now, as far as the Civic, they have 3. They have Sport, I believe they have Sport, EX, and Touring. They try to keep it simple for everybody. Now, I'm looking at what they have, and base MSRP on a Sport, and I did not check if it's automatic or manual, so I apologize, was $24,600. And I'm thinking to myself, who in the... Now, granted, it's Honda, and I'll get to that in a minute about the quality. Who in their right mind is going to spend close to $25,000 on a Civic? Now, in full disclosure, I sell Kias. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's a Civic's direct competition is a Kia Forte LXS. And I apologize, it's starting to rain right now. And it's starting to rain pretty good. Now, selling is direct competition. If you look at the exact, you can opt out the exact same way as a Civic Sport. The exact same way. In Kia's instance, being LXS, the only thing you don't have is blind spot monitoring. Now, keep that in mind, because blind spot monitoring both cars is an option. The Kia Forte starts at $21,300, if I remember correctly. So you mean to tell me that you can buy the exact same car, exact same features, and have a longer warranty for $3,500 less? The Civic's problems start at pricing. It has enough to the pricing itself. I'm talking about from true MSRP, so everybody knows. We're on the same page here. I mean, the Civic is pretty much starting to price themselves out of their own market they were kings of for years. And with the Civic, you look at the other end of the spectrum with the Type R. Who in their right mind is going to spend $39,000 for a Civic? I don't care what's in it. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow at the other end of the spectrum. Now, the other issue is Honda and even Toyota's done this. They think they can still sell a car just with the badge out front. And somebody's been in the business since I was 15 and I'm 42. You just can't do that anymore. And I'm going to use Every Man's Driver's video. Now, he was showing press. Now, granted, it was B-roll. He was showing press pictures from Honda, right? And I'm looking at the car, and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't see that steering wheel, or I didn't know what it was going in. I honestly thought it was a Nissan. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from the Honda people for that. But at first glance, just looking at like the radio controls, I honestly thought that was a Nissan. And and I'm thinking to myself, especially like Honda and Toyota, interior fit and finish is not what it once was. Now, granted, it's still pretty good, but you're almost getting down, and this is gonna take a hard pill for me to swallow. As far as fit and finish on the entry level trims, it's starting looking more and more like General Motors. Let that sink in for a moment. I mean, now granted, General Motors is going to General Motors, but when you're looking at a mark like Honda, who pride themselves on build quality, they're going to have those, look like that. And like I said, a lot of people are not fond of that CVT automatic they're putting in that car now. So there's a lot of issues with that video that it warranted me to do a long form video on it, because I almost did a straight breakdown on it, but I intentionally did not do it. So yesterday was just one of those weird days for me. Now granted, Tuesdays are my off day, and normally I would have had a video for, I normally had a video, I did Monday for Tuesday, and had the off day today. But I just did the shorts video on Monday, and I just completely apologized for that. And plus it was early in the morning, which I gotta get in that mode of doing that. Well, folks, now I'm gonna get off here because I'm getting closer and closer to work. Now, I hate to be the YouTuber, but I gotta get to those 1,000 subs. So like, share, subscribe, all those good things. And this is Lance of Lance's Car Life.